Hey YouTube. So I wanted to come on here today and do a review of If Beale Street Could Talk. If Beale Street Could Talk is a novel by James Baldwin. The novel came out in 1974 and the movie is by Barry Jenkins, who also is the creator of Moonlight. And this is his second movie. It's the first ever English-speaking adaptation of a James Baldwin novel to premiere as a major film. So this kudos to Barry Jenkins. I am a sucker for love stories. I enjoy love stories. But I have to admit that initially when I saw the promo for this movie, I did not know that this was a love story. I just thought it was a movie that addressed police brutality and the unfair justice system, but this movie is actually a love story, and it's a beautiful love story. It's so pure and it's so tender, and it was just beautiful to see Black love depicted on the big screen. I know we do not get that a lot, and it was just amazing to see two melanated Black people loving on one another. Kiki Lane and Stephan James are the lead characters, or the lead actors in this movie. Their performance was so believable. Like, I believed that they were in love. Their chemistry in this movie was so believable. That's how you know they did a good job, because I'm like, I want them to be together. They just came across as just so in love and loving to one another. The long gazes, the staring in each other's eyes, the hand holding, the love making, they really did these roles justice. As well as the other actors. The father, played by Coleman Domingo, was great. Brian Tyree, who was in Atlanta. He's in Atlanta. He did a great job. Like, he's an amazing actor. Regina King as the mother, she was so beautiful. She was such a great mother. Like, we don't usually see her as a mother, like especially as a mother to these adult children, but she did a good job. Everybody did such a good job. I listened to the audiobook and it was like spot on. Though everything that was in the audiobook was not in the movie did not miss a beat. This movie, again, is a love story. These two characters, Fonnie and Tish, not only do they love one another, but they are soulmates. They see into one another's soul. They have looked past the exterior and are looking into one another's souls. And I thought that was just so refreshing to see, because I feel like present day, a lot of people choose their partners based off of their physical features, and a lot of people are in relationships with absolutely no foundation. And you know, no judgment here. I know that's probably easy to do. It's easy to fall in relationships without building a foundation. But Fonnie and Tish, their foundation was like a lifelong foundation. Their foundation was strong. So it was just beautiful to see a love that wasn't based on how thick the girl is, or how tall the guy is, or how expensive his car is, or their job titles, or how much money either one of them have. Their love was a simple love, because the 70s were simple times. It's just refreshing to see that simple, pure, tender love. Stephan James, you know, he has this masculine like energy, but he was still soft and gentle to Tish. And Tish had this like innocence about her and this sweetness to her. So Black love is like the major overall theme of this movie, but Black family is also super important, and it's a theme running throughout this movie. The Black family to me is necessary. It's a necessity to me in order for Black lives to thrive. And the Black family and Black love is under constant threat. It's under constant threat, under constant attack. And it was just interesting to see that even though under the threats of this society, the injustice, the issues with the police, the issues with the legal system, we can still have love, we can still have family, they can still exist, and they don't have to crumble under this pressure. And it was just beautiful to see Black family, the love of self, the love of child, sibling love, and more specifically, most importantly, parenthood. It was enjoyable to see Black fatherhood depicted this way on film. Typically we see Black fathers in more stereotypical roles, emotionless, mean, or just absent and or in prison, just a lack of fatherhood in general. So it was good to see fathers supporting their children, fathers being loving, caring, and doing whatever they have to do to provide and care for their kids. It was also beautiful to see motherhood and to see, you know, one woman becoming a mother and another supporting her child, trying to help her child in any way she can. So it was just beautiful to see motherhood, fatherhood, parenthood, Black parenthood depicted in this way. I also wanted to talk about the casting of these actors in these roles. It was just beautiful to see, like, I'm gonna keep using that word, it was beautiful to see melanated people in roles on the big screen. Like, this is a major film, regardless of if a lot of people know about it. I know I've mentioned to people if Beale Street could talk and they don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Regardless of if this is a well-known film like Black Panther, it was just enjoyable to see Black melanated people in these types of roles, and to have a movie that's not the stereotypical Black dark-skinned man with a light-skinned Black woman. Like, it's a Black dark-skinned man with a dark-skinned woman with African features, like with kinky hair. This was important. This is important to a lot of people to see this, and I'm excited about this. I hope that this will spark a change in Hollywood to be more intentional about who is being casted in these roles. Now, in the book, colorism was addressed in this book, and Fonny's mother was light-skinned in the book, but in the movie she is more on the brown side. And I think that was done on purpose to not have that overshadow the movie. Colorism is an important topic to discuss. Hopefully in the future there will be a movie that comes out that is productive and that does push the conversation forward. But I just think that having this melanated cast is so important. You know, we had Black Panther and that was beautiful to see, and I just want to see this trend continuing because Blackness is specific. We know what we look like, you know? So I think it's important to show us and how we truly look. So next, when I left the theater, I couldn't help but to think of Kalief Browder. If you are not familiar with Kalief Browder, he is a young man who was accused of stealing a backpack, and he awaited trial for like 3 years. He was on Rikers Island for 3 years, just not being convicted of anything, serving time for something he did not do. He was an innocent man, and his accuser left the country. I think he went to like Mexico or something, a Spanish speaking country. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But Kalief was traumatized from that experience. The trauma of being in prison, it altered who he was. His psyche was just messed up. He eventually went on to commit suicide. But I think that the prison system, prisons do absolutely nothing to help people or to rehabilitate people. Just based off of what I've seen. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, if you know somebody who has been rehabilitated by going into prison. But prisons, from what I've seen and heard, it's just like a war zone. Prisons are like a zoo. It's like you putting people in cages and you expecting them to come out and be productive people, to come out and be mentally sound, healthy people. No, you feed them crap, you treat them like they're nothing, and then there are people in there that are innocent. That's something that is explored in this movie, how the prison system is destroying people. But I couldn't help but to think of Kalief Browder, and Stephan James actually said that he was inspired by Kalief Browder's story, and he used his story to prepare for this role. And it's eerie how Khalif's experience was so similar to Fani's. Also, leaving the movie theater, I just couldn't help but to think of like how I laughed, how there was some comedic relief in this movie, and we have to laugh through our pain. I think that's also a theme in this movie, is to laugh through the pain. Like, life is not a fairy tale. Life is not a fairy tale. And we have to learn to laugh through the troubling times that we go through, the problems, the issues, the chaos. We have to learn how to laugh through that and to remember to remain open to humor helping us get through tough times. So that was enjoyable because I didn't think that I was gonna laugh. I didn't think it was gonna be anything in this movie that would be comedic, but there were some parts that, you know, I laughed and I smiled, and I like the scenes where they express their love non-verbally to one another just made me smile. Like, it just warmed my heart. And lastly, I just want to talk about Barry Jenkins and how amazing his work is, how he puts out stories that we aren't used to seeing, how refreshing his work is. I'm just thankful that he decided to write this script, to adapt this book into a movie. And, you know, there are a lot of writers and a lot of people who are unable to get their art out there, who have refreshing stories that they want the world to see. And I just hope the more that we support this type of art, the more we'll eventually get. I don't know, I just hope that by supporting this film that it will push Hollywood to recognize that we want to see more movies like this, or just see more Black people on screen. So yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I encourage everyone to go see it if you were interested in seeing this movie. It's really good. It's beautiful. It touched me in a way. It made me think a little bit deeper. It made me laugh. It made me smile. It made me sad. It was a range of emotions that I had after seeing this movie, but it's a movie that I feel like I could watch over and over again. It was well-rounded. It was well done. And so if anyone has anything to add to this conversation, to this discussion, please leave your comments below. I am interested in hearing what other people had to think about this movie. But yeah, I just love this movie. It's not a fairy tale. It's not a fantasy love story. It's real. And we always say we want to see real stories on film, and this is a real story. You know, and it's still relevant today, even though it's set in the 1970s. So yeah, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll be back soon with more content. Thank you for watching. Bye.